Hey, what is up everybody? Desmo here. In today's video I'm gonna share with you my current build setup. So I'm gonna start by doing a map showcase, and then I'm gonna do a bridge map boss, and then I'm gonna talk about the build itself with the skill gem, the Atlas tree, the Ascendancy, everything. I think I'm not gonna take too long speaking about the build mechanic because Spark mana stacker is now well known, so I will put a link in the description for a written build guide, so if you need like any further information, you can look into the website and have like precise information into what you would like to know. You can also leave a comment, of course, if you have any question, but this is going to be quite a long video. I'm going to be very specific about every aspect of the build. There will be video section on the description of the video, so if you are interested about any specific aspect of the build, you can skip ahead. Get comfortable, grab yourself a drink or some food, and let's get into it. So as I said, let's start with the map showcase. As you can see, I have a pretty well juiced map here with waystones and the map itself. So there's one little particularity for my build is that I'm not stacking spirit at all. I'm just using the 100 spirit that I get from the campaign, and that's it. As you can see, I have a maximum of 100 spirit because I really think that we don't need anything else beyond Archmage for the auras. You could use a few different things, but for the way we are actually building this character, there's much more better investment for the points that we have on the tree and for the modifiers that we have on gears, and I'm gonna speak a bit further about that when we get to the build section of the video. But we are only using that, and then I'm using the weapon swap to go a little bit faster. As you can see right now, when I weapon swap, I can use blink to move faster. And then once I'm using Spark, it's just like swapping automatically to my offensive setup, and this is extremely convenient. I did speak about that in my last video for the quality of life and tips and tricks stuff. I'm not gonna loot right now. I'm just gonna leave everything behind. The DPS is getting really good. I'm over 200k DPS on my Spark by itself, without counting every buff that we have with Flame Wall and so on, the exposure, stuff like that. But as you can see, basically you're one-shotting every mobs around you. It depends also on the layout, because Spark, if you have like a narrow layout, is gonna be better, because the sparks are gonna hit the walls faster and come back to everything around you. So it depends also a little bit on the layout that you are running. I just hit level 93 there. I'm still like in process of making the build as good as it can be. I'm not like completely there yet, but it's already really good, and I'm getting close to the end version of the build, so this is why I wanted to do the video right now. So I will skip ahead, and I will see you in a few minutes for the bridge map boss. So here is for the bridge. You can see that I have all the points for the difficulty here. Let's open the bridge, level 82. I'm gonna clear the map quickly, and I will join you for the boss. Right, and here is the boss. So what we are going to do, we are going to weapon swap to drop the Sigil of Power, we are going to curse the boss, we are going to drop the Flame Wall and the Orb Storm, and we will see how fast we can kill it. There's the Sigil of Power. I got hit a little bit here. I forgot to curse the boss, actually. There we go. And there we go. And we actually got the gloves. Okay, so now let's speak about the build. I'm gonna start probably with the skills because we are going to go quickly over that. As I said, I'm gonna put a link in the description with everything about the build. So if you want to check the gears and the skills slowly, you're gonna be able to do that with the website. So we are using Archmage. This is the most important aspect of the build. I'm just using one support because, as I said, I have 100 spirits, so I cannot put anything else. Just Archmage. And the support is Lightning Mastery because the levels actually matters a lot. Archmage levels and Spark levels are really, really important. I have level 21 gems, and because I corrupted the Archmage, and I have the Lightning Mastery, so it's level 22. Then we're using Spark with Arcane Tempo, Acceleration, Persistence, Inspiration, and Rising Tempest. You might want to swap Rising Tempest if you want for more mobility speed. There's a gem that allows you to walk faster while you are using a skill. I'm not really into that at the moment. I prefer to have more damage. This is up to you. And this one is giving us 24 more elemental damage since we are using Flame Wall every now and then. This is always up. Then we are using also Orb of Storm. So basically Spark is for the damage and also for triggering our Ascendancy skill, which is Elemental Storm. We will get back into that a bit after. Orb of Storm is for the exposure. Exposure is basically reducing the elemental resistance of the enemy hit by the skill, and so we are investing quite a lot into this with Orb of Storm. The quality with Orb of Storm, I didn't speak about the quality, by the way, for Spark. The quality is giving us 4 additional projectiles, so definitely you want quality on Spark. Ideally, you want a level 21 as well, but I don't have that. For now, it's level 26 with the gem level 20. So if we get the corrupted Spark gem, it will be level 27, but they are going for like 20 to 40 divines. So this is not something that I want to pay for at the moment. I didn't say that for Archmage, but I did corrupt it myself. You can buy one, corrupt it yourself. This is as you wish. Since we don't need a socket for Archmage, it's cheap to like get a few, put some quality on, and try to vault them yourself. You can find one for 5 to 6 divine on the market, so you are not going to make that much money corrupting the gem yourself. What you do, you can level up with the uncut skill gem. You can level up corrupted gem, so you don't use a level 20. Level 20 uncut skill gem are actually expensive. So what you do, you take a lower level gem, and once you actually succeed to get the +1 modifier with the Valorb, then you are upgrading with the level 20 uncut skill gem, not before. You don't use a high level gem; it's just going to be a waste of money. Or you can just buy it from the market. So as I was saying, quality matters on Spark because for additional projectile. Quality on Archmage is really good as well because this is 2 additional % for extra damage as lightning. Very, very good. And we are stacking that, so as you can see I have 9% of extra lightning damage. And we are going to increase that with Aura Effect. I'm going to speak about that as well after. Back to Orb of Storm. Again, quality matters here because you get chain times up to 3 with 20% quality. Then for the support gems, we have Lightning Exposure, which is inflicting exposure for 8 seconds on shocked enemy. We are increasing exposure by 30% with Stripped Away, and then Overcharge, and then Overabundance. And I forgot to actually put the last one here, my bad. I actually forgot to put my last support gem for the boss fight. You use Font of Mana to have even more mana regeneration when you are using Orb of Storm. And this is when you are nearby your storm. So this is the last one that we are using. Not absolutely necessary. We have a lot of mana regeneration already, so don't go for this kind of setup. It's a bit too expensive for what it is, but if you have the money, just do it. And then Sigil of Power, this is the skill that we have on our weapon swap. This is really good because we are getting extra damage from the skill. Basically, you get 14% more spell damage per stage, and as you cast skill while inside the ring, you increase the stage of the skill by spending mana, and you can get up for 4 stages. So once you reach the maximum stage, this is 56% more spell damage, which is really high. So definitely something you want to have. And this is on the weapon swap. So what you do about the weapon swap, I explained that in my last video, but I'm gonna do it here again, is that you set up your skill when you click the arrow here. Not for this one actually, but for the other, like Spark, you set it up for weapon swap 1, and you can set other skills for weapon swap 2. So for instance, Sigil of Power, it's gonna be automatic basically for Sigil of Power because it's already on your weapon swap on the weapon. So if you check, if I'm on my weapon swap 1 and I'm using Sigil of Power, to make it clear, I'm just gonna go right here. I'm pressing the skill, and you see it's changing my weapon swap. And then since Spark is set up for my weapon swap 2, if I use Spark, you can see it's changing my weapons automatically. So this is what you do. Basically, on your skills, you put every skills that you use for offense on weapon swap 1. And then the other ones, for instance, I have Blink. Blink, I cannot use it because I have all my spirit reserved with the Archmage, so I put it on weapon swap 2. And if I want to Blink, I just weapon swap, and then I can use Blink. And as you can see, I have some spirit left because Blink is reserving 60 spirit. And then if I use my Spark again, boom, I'm coming back to my good setup for damage, and Archmage is active again. So this is what you do. Blink, I could put some support on it, but I don't really care about that. You have some cooldown reduction with one support, and the other is second wind, which allows you to use it twice in a row, but the cooldown is higher. You can use that if you want. I have Mana Tempest. I'm actually never really use it. I think this is very, very dangerous because you could use it if you have the version of the build where you have Energy Shield. If you don't have that, and I'm gonna speak about the Energy Shield version a bit later, I do not recommend using it. I have it because I have room for skills. This is there. I'm not using it. It's too dangerous, and the damage is high enough. The Mana Tempest is going to give you more damage, but this is risky. So just be aware of that. You can see that the mana is draining quite fast. I do not recommend using it. And then we have Flame Wall, which we are using, as I said, to increase the damage of our Spark. When it's going through the flame, it's getting some fire buff, and it is actually very consistent. So definitely use that one. We are using Fortress to make it so it's a circle instead of a line. And you can be inside of it, or you can put an enemy inside of the circle. This is going to be the same, so you are actually always sure that you are going to have the buff on your Spark. Then we are using Spell Echo for more area of effect, and Spell Cascade to have the 3 occurrence of the skill. Then we need to speak about Sigil of Power. This is a skill that comes from a weapon, a staff, and the level of the skill is related to the level of the staff. So you want to have as high as possible. The maximum level is going to be 19. As you can see here, I only have a level 18. And on top of that, on the staff, the mod that you want the most is going to be level of all spells. As you can see on mine, this is level of all lightning spells. Don't buy that. This is useless. This is just because I couldn't find anything better at the moment, so this is what I'm using. All you want is the level of all spells, because it's going to increase the level of Sigil of Power. Next, there is Conductivity. So this is the curse that we are using to reduce enemies' resistance. We are using Focus Curse and Iron Curse to increase the effect of our curse. And then the last skill that we need to speak about is going to be Elemental Storm. And speaking of that one, I'm going to transition to the Ascendancy. So This skill is coming from Ascendancy, and this is triggering when we are dealing critical strikes to enemies. So as you can see here, there is a cooldown for this ability, and the duration is 5 seconds. The damage of the skill is related to the damage that we deal, which is lightning damage mostly. This is this one that we are going to trigger. So it's gonna be a lightning elemental storm, basically. For the support, we are using considered casting because we are not casting the skill, so the less cast speed doesn't matter. Then we are using elemental focus, control destruction, ingenuity for the cooldown reduction, and magnify effect. So as I said, this skill is related to our Ascendancy. We are getting the skill from the Tempest Color. And then we are taking the node that follows to reduce the cooldown recovery rate. So the skill is going to trigger more often. And of course, as a mana stacker, we are using Constant Gale, which is giving us constantly Arcane Surge. And we are getting increased effect of Arcane Surge with Force Will per 15 mana, which is quite a lot with the mana pool that we have. I'm gonna follow up with the skill tree. So basically we are getting as much spell damage, crit chance, crit bonus as we can, and with the jewels we are going to stack aura effect. I'm gonna get back to that in a moment. So we are basically getting some spell damage, elemental damage, cast speed, crit chance and crit bonus here. Some more over there. I'm only level 93, so this node here, I'm gonna pick only one of them later. It's just because I have one point to spend. But for the very endgame version of the build, I think I'm gonna grab one more Jewel Socket here, and then maybe take this node here. I'm gonna swap a few things around here, but this is close to the end version of the build. It's gonna take a very, very long time to get to level 100, so for now this is what we have. We have some crit node here, some elemental resistance here. My resistances are fine, but if you struggle, you see like the lightning resistance, I actually need the 5 to get capped. So this one is really good, and the 30 increased elemental damage is also quite a lot of damage, as you can see. Here I'm going from 229 to 239, so this is actually very consistent. Then we are getting some Arcane Surge effect. This one is also really, really important. We are getting some cast speed, lightning damage, chance for lightning skills to chain. We also have some skill effect duration for Spark. It's gonna be extremely good because your Spark are going to move around longer. We have some crit chance here. Some projectile speed also is very good for damage with Spark because your Spark is going to travel faster, and with more duration they are just going to hit more enemies in the end. Of course we are using, I didn't speak about the big nodes, but Spark Mana Stacker is already well known. This is why I didn't speak so much about it so far, but we have Mind Over Matter, which makes all damage we take being taken from Mana Before Life, which allow us to have just one life and to use Chaos Inoculation. So we are immune to Chaos damage. And of course we are converting all Energy Shield to Mana to have this kind of huge mana pool. And so we are stacking Energy Shield on our gears as well. I'm gonna speak about that right after finishing the skill tree, but this is pretty much it. We have 15% more maximum lightning damage here, and this is extremely strong because for the lightning damage, if you take Spark for instance, you can see that the lightning damage, the low end of lightning damage is basically 1,000, when the high end of the lightning damage is 25,000. So it's pretty much 25 times more high end of the lightning damage. So if you are doing more lightning damage, it's gonna be extremely strong. And we have some penetration and crit chance here against enemy who have exposure. This is already this is also really nice. And here this is just crit chance and crit bonus. This is also really strong. One last thing is the jewels. They are getting a bit more expensive right now, but they are really, really good. We are stacking crit chance, crit bonus, and aura effect. This is the modifier that we want the most. The premium one is aura effect. If you can have 10%, it's gonna be really, really, really good. And on top of that, you can get spell damage, cast speed, stuff like that. It doesn't matter too much. I'm gonna show you my live search. If you want to do something similar, I will put the link in the description for that search. As you can see, crit hit chance, crit damage bonus, and aura effect. This is what we want. For the very end game setup, we want to have 10 jewels with 10% increase aura effect. And so if we actually have that, let me show you back on the game. Basically, we have Archmage here, which is giving us 9% of damage as extra lightning. How much aura effect you need is going to depend on the level of Archmage. For instance, if you don't have a level 22 like me here, if you have a level 20, let's say, it's gonna be 8%. So the multiplicator for 8% is not gonna be the same as for 9. Let me just show you with the calculator. Let's say, for instance, that we have 9% extra damage as lightning with Archmage. So if we multiply that by 1.7, let's say, it's gonna give us 15%. So it's not actually giving us 9% anymore extra lightning damage, it's gonna be 15. So to reach the next threshold, you are going to need more. If we do like 9 times 1.75, for instance, it's gonna give us 15.75. So 5% more is not gonna change anything. But if we get up to 78, for instance, I think it's the next threshold, if I remember correctly. So we do 1.78, and you can see we are getting to 16%. So it would be the next threshold. I think I'm still under that one, and this is what I'm trying to reach. But if we go to 100%, which is going to be basically times 2, right? And then we're gonna have 18%. So this is scaling with mana, right? This is 9% of extra lightning damage per 100 mana that you have. So this is extremely strong. This is why I'm trying to stack as much as I can. And eventually I'm gonna take as much Gerald socket as I can. So I'm gonna grab this one here and this one here. So I can have 10 and have 10 increase aura effect on all of them. And this is going to be extremely strong. So this is for Archmage and aura effect stacking. And then I want to speak about the gears. So as I said, you want to have as much mana as you can. So we have maximum mana on all the gears where it can roll. So on the focus, on the boots, on the gloves, on the helm. We also have some on the wand, and we have the same modifiers on the breach ring. On this ring, it's extremely important to have as many mana modifier because we can increase them with the quality up to 50% with the breach ring. You also want to have mana regeneration on the rings, and cast speed is really nice to have because we also improve the effect of the rings with the ingenuity. So this is going to end up being quite crazy. On the amulet, I'm also using a rare amulet because we can have increased maximum mana percentage, which is a modifier that is quite hard to get in PoE 2. And then I'm getting some crit chance. Instead of the crit chance, you could also have cast speed. We want the mana regeneration again and the flat maximum mana. So this is something really good. For the anointment, the white line that you see on top of the amulet, I chose to go with the extra charm to make sure that we have immunity to freeze and to stun, because this is the thing that are going to be the most annoying for you. If you want to go for pure damage, and this is going to be more expensive, you can go for lightning rod. Lightning rod, lightning damage with non-critical hit is lucky, is gonna be extremely strong. Even for a build that is stacking crit chance and who is playing crit, because if you check our spark right now, our crit hit chance, even for my build which has quite a lot of crit chance already, I'm not even at 30%. So this modifier is still going to be extremely strong. You can definitely go for it if you want damage. This is the best option. But for defense, and I think the damage is quite good enough at the moment to not get some more, I just prefer to go for the defense and to get the Hunter Talisman, +1 charm slot. It's good. I definitely recommend going for that one. Then we need to speak about two other things. There's the body armor. You have the option to go for something like this, with high energy shield and spirit. If you want to play a version where you have more spirit and you want to use, for instance, cast on shock, this is an option. You can also go for cast on crit, but cast on crit is 100 spirit, so you will need a chest like this one, plus an amulet with spirit, and maybe some extra on top of that depending on what you are using. So I would not recommend to go for more spirit and more meta gem stacking. That I don't think this is good enough in terms of power to actually use that. I think we're much better off using Warrior Invictus. It's going to help us with the mana pool, which is going to give us more offense but more defense also, because this is our life pool as well. And the resistance, since we are using a few unique items and we are focusing on other things than elemental resistance, this is making building the build just much easier. So definitely I recommend going for that one. And there's also the option to go for Mahugstol's Machinations. I do not recommend going for that because to begin with, to be as effective as possible, you need to have the threshold of 650, so it's going to be a bit expensive. I think we are much better off focused like this one, because the level of all spell skills, especially with Spark, it's gonna give us so much DPS. Basically, with this, if you have the threshold of 650 increase effect of Socketed Soul Core, with the mana Soul Core inside of it, you're gonna end up with 45% increased maximum mana. I tried it. It's giving us some good mana pool, but I think it's not good enough for the price, and I just prefer going for the focus. The DPS is just so much better with the focus. Just go for that one, in my opinion. But you feel free to use any of them. They are definitely both good, so as you wish. I need to speak about the amulet as well. You might want to use the unique amulet, the Everlasting Gaze, which is going to give you 30% of maximum mana as extra energy shield. I tried it, and there's a few good reasons to go for it. This is something that you need to consider. My take is to go for this one. What is the difference? If you are using the amulet with a mana pool of about 6k, you're gonna get a bit above 1k energy shield, I believe, if I remember correctly. And so in terms of DPS, the amulet is going to be better. But what is the difference is there's a few enemies which are mana siphoner. They have a radius, and when you enter that radius, it's gonna drain your mana very quickly. And with this build, it's gonna kill you very often. I'm telling you, there's no way around that. If you are not like, if you get surprised by the monster, if you're not casting before seeing it, and if it get close to you in 1 second, you're gonna be dead. So I think that I didn't try it, but I'm pretty sure of that. If you have this amulet, you are not going to die, because it's gonna siphon your mana, and then you're gonna be left over with the energy shield protecting your life. So I think you should not be dying if you have the amulet. This is the only reason I see to actually use that. Of course, it's gonna give you a bit more life pool, but 1k life pool, I think it's arguably neglectable when you have over 6k. Probably there is going to be a few people in the comment telling me I'm crazy to say that, but this is my take on the build. I just prefer to go with the amulet. One other option for the amulet is to have the modifier +2 level of projectile skill, which is going to be, again, extremely strong. 2 levels is going to give us so much damage. So maybe I'm going to look for that later. For now, I'm using this one. But this is one of the upgrades that I would want to have. For the wand, you want to have cast speed, maximum mana, spell damage or lightning damage or both of them, or gain some percentage of damage as extra lightning damage is good also. But what you want the most is the level of all spell skills. You want the +4, that's for sure. And for the rest of the gears, you want a high amount of energy shield and resistance. So as you can see on the helm, this is what I get. On the gloves, this is the same. And the boots, of course, you want ideally 30 to 35% movement speed and high energy shield, and resistance and mana, of course, on every piece of gears. One last word for the gears. This is the runes. You can see that on the runes here, I got increased energy shield. Since we can swap runes now, I will change this one for the 2% mana. I did that one already on the gloves. On the helm, I'm not sure. I need to do the math because we have quite a lot of energy shield on the helm. So maybe this is actually just the same for the runes on the helm. And the mana soul core is actually quite expensive. It's 60 exalt plus. It's going up, I think, up to 70 exalt right now. So getting the energy shield one, which costs basically nothing, it's less than an exalt. So for the cheap version of the build, you can definitely use the increased energy shield. But on the gear where the energy shield is not that high, like under 200, the mana is actually better overall. It's not a big difference. I think when I changed on the gloves, it gave me an extra 50 mana, so it's not a big deal. 50 mana for 70 exalts. Arguably, you could want to skip that. But if you want to min-max, this is what you want eventually. And we need to speak about the flask. We don't need the life flask at all. The mana flask, you want as much mana as you can if you are using a regular mana flask. If you have the money, this is 20 divine plus. You want the melting maelstrom. This is completely insane. This is absolutely amazing. This is worth every penny of it. You can see if I have low mana, I press the flask, it's up again. If I have low mana, I press flask, it's up again. And we have so many charge, you will basically never die with that if you have the time to press the button. Again and again and again, and I still have one more. Can you believe you have so many flask charge and it's just giving you your full life pool again? Absolutely amazing. As soon as you have the money, go for that one. It's gonna help you survive so much more. And I think I did speak about every aspect of the build. If I did forget anything, please let me know in the comments. I hope you will try this build. I definitely recommend it. This is the best at the moment in the game. Please like and subscribe. And until my next video, take care of yourself and bye.